All right. I would like Dr. Molly Kilpatrick, palliative care physician with Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. Dr. Kilpatrick is a member of the multidisciplinary team that serves the ALS clinic and population and presenting on quality of life and mindfulness.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited for you to be here and to be here with you and to have been asked to present on quality of life and mindfulness today. This will be just a brief introduction to those two topics. And as you heard, my name is Dr. Molly Kilpatrick. I'm a palliative medicine physician at Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida. Most people usually ask me what on earth palliative medicine is. So I'll start with that. As a palliative medicine provider, my whole focus is on enhancing quality of life for patients and families that are living with serious and chronic illness. Now, I have a variety of patients that I care for, but I must say I am most humbled and most honored for the ALS patients and families that have welcomed me as part of their care team at Mayo. So for starters, quality of life. What do we mean by that? Well, quality of life really means different things for different people and at different times. In palliative medicine, we often refer to quality of life and the way we assess that with a lot of jargon. We use the term bio, psycho, social, spiritual in our approach to quality of life. But more simply put, that really means mind, body, and spirit. And when we think about mind and how that may impact quality of life, we think about things like stress, worry, how we're coping with and adjusting to everything that's going on. When we think about the body, we think more about physical symptoms, anything from pain to shortness of breath, constipation to nausea, even secretions or drooling. And when we think about spirit, we think about more of the activities we enjoy, hobbies, relationships, and maybe assessing or even reassessing the things that bring meaning and purpose to our lives. It also may mean thinking about our goals and what matters most to us. We know that ALS impacts quality of life. We also know that an impact to one area, let's say the mind, for example, can certainly have an impact on another, the spirit, right? And vice versa. So as a palliative provider, I may not be able to take away the diagnosis, but I do work with patients and families on optimizing what we can in the setting of illness and working on each of these different areas to improve quality of life. With that being said, if you don't already have a palliative provider on your team and you are living with ALS, I strongly recommend looking into palliative care as a resource for you. Talk to others to figure out what are the resources in your area. If there aren't resources in your area, there may be options for virtual or telehealth too. Now, on to mindfulness. I'm going to share with you first a children's story. Now, this is a story for children, but it's also for those that are children at heart. It's called Mindful Monkey, Happy Panda. It's written by Lauren Alderfer and illustrated by Carrie Lee McLean. This will be a little overview of it. The story is of Monkey and Panda. Now, Monkey's walking along and comes up to Panda and starts to question Panda. He says, "What do you do to be so happy and so peaceful?" And the panda says, "Well, I simply walk, I work, I read, I eat, I play, and I rest." And the monkey said, "Well, that's interesting. I do all the same things. I walk, I work, I read, I eat, I play, and I rest too, but I'm not as happy as you are, Panda." And the panda then asked, Well, what is it, monkey, that you think about when you're doing each of these things? And the monkey responded, well, when I'm walking, I'm thinking about work. When I'm at work, I might be thinking about the book I'm going to read. When I'm reading, I'm usually thinking about the next snack I'm going to have. When I'm playing, I might be thinking about the nap I'm going to take later and resting. And so Panda says, that's it. I've got it. Your monkey mind is jumping from one thing to the next to the next. You're always someplace other than right here. Something other than what you're doing right now. And the monkey responded, well, isn't that how every mind works? Isn't that how everyone is? And the panda said, well, when I'm walking, I'm just walking. When I'm reading, I'm just reading. When I'm resting, I'm just resting. So the monkey then says, I'm thinking I'm understanding this. And Panda says, really true happiness comes from bringing all your attention to whatever you are doing right now. There's no need to think about what happened yesterday. Yesterday is gone, over, and done. And there's no need to worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow isn't here. But today is all around us. Bringing your mind back to this moment right here, over and over and over again, is what we call mindfulness. Monkey said, I get it. Mindful, like your mind is full of the present, full of right now. So before we talk a little bit more about mindfulness, one of the areas where this really comes into play and what I've seen for the patients and families I work with who have ALS is really, they share with me a sense of a loss of control. And I say a sense of a loss of control because when it really comes down to it, there are actually very few things in life that we have control over. I'll say that one of the things that we may have more control over than we think would be our thoughts and our intentions. And that's where mindfulness can come into play, right? We certainly can have control over what we bring into our thoughts. So if we tend to focus on things like stress or worry, that can certainly fill up our tank, right? But if we focus on things like peace or joy, that can also fill up our tank and maybe a little bit more enjoyable for us. So mindful, you may hear of mindfulness as a mindfulness practice. That's intentional. It takes practice. It's something that we have to work at. It's not something that usually comes natural to us. And so when we break down mindfulness in a few different key pieces, one of them is awareness, being more present in the now with less focus on the past or the future. This is just what Monkey and Panda were trying to teach us. The next is acceptance, allowing things to be just as they are. This is one of the most challenging, but if we can work on this, it often does ease those moments of chaos, stress, challenges, and we're able to be more at ease even in the setting of all those things. The next is non-judgment. This is being able to experience life without labeling if things are good or bad, or negative or positive. And then last is curiosity, really being open to the experience of life. Some people like to refer this as more of an adventure mindset. Now, when we think about mindfulness, I want to point out that this really is not about avoidance or denial. we will certainly still visit the places and the spaces of stress or of worry. We will also need to think about the future for planning purposes. But it's being mindful to how long we spend there versus in the now. It's being mindful that we're allowed to visit those places, but we don't want to get to being maybe a long-term visitor or moving in permanently, right? Being able to visit those places and then coming back to a more mindful place. Another reason kind of why this is important is because practicing mindfulness actually does impact brain activity. It can lead to improved ability in decision making, in problem solving, in regulating emotions, and even impulse control. It may also improve memory, learning, and our response to stress. As I mentioned, this really is a practice. And so you really need to think about what are the tools in my toolkit and what do I need to add to this practice to make it work for me. There are a lot of resources out there about mindfulness. I don't want to bombard you with all of them. It would be impossible to include them all in this brief presentation, but I'll highlight a few. And the thing to keep in mind is there may be some practices that really work well for you. There may be some that just don't sit well, and that's okay. If you find something that really doesn't work, move on to another. There are plenty of resources out there. If you find something that works for you, keep working at it. Remember, it's not going to be easy, but picking things that you feel like can be helpful for you is really the most important part. And working at it. Most of the time, that means working at something daily, okay? So as I already mentioned, in terms of resources, palliative care is one of the things that I highly recommend. This is a team that's focused on quality of life, so it would be an excellent resource. Thinking about support groups, being able to utilize the resources of community is important. Thinking about applications for your phone or device. So I've listed a few here. The UCLA Mindful app and the Insight Timer are free applications. Calm and Headspace are applications that do have a fee, but are also really good resources. And then there's meditation websites. I've listed a couple here that are free websites with resources on them. I'll also say that YouTube is really a great resource. You can type into the search bar for YouTube any meditation on any topic, you'll likely find it. So for example, meditation on sleep, meditation for anxiety, meditation for peace, right? Whatever you can think up, there's probably a YouTube video on it, probably multiple YouTube videos on it, and it's okay to scroll through those, find one that you like, and utilize it. The other resources are good books and good reading. Now, these could be books or audiobooks. Not everyone likes reading or kind of has the patience to sit and read a book, but these are a few of my favorites, a few that I'll highlight that really do focus on quality of life and mindfulness. There's The 4 Things That Matter Most by Ira Byock. There's Judgment Detox by Gabrielle Bernstein. There's When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. And there's A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. Again, all good resources if reading is something that you enjoy or audiobooks are something that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy that, then don't use that as a resource for you. And I just wanted to share with you my contact information. So my email address is here. My phone is here. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out. Use me as a resource. That's what I'm here for, and I love to help. I may not have all the questions or answers to all the questions, but I'm pretty good about figuring those out if there are answers out there. And I just wanted to leave you with this. Like I said, it was going to be a short presentation today, but I wanted to leave you with something in closing. At every moment, there is a choice for love or fear. The universe is always giving you the opportunity for spiritual growth and enlightenment. When in judgment or not at peace, ask to see it differently. Ask to see it from love. Send that love out into your day. Send that love out to others and to the world. So with that, sending you love and peace and many thanks. I really appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit more about mindfulness and quality of life, and look forward to hearing from you if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you.